I should say we're at 40. But this essentially the same geographic size. So we've essentially got twice as many students in the last 30 years in the same area. Now what has that created? It's a family atmosphere. It has to be. We're the smallest state university in terms of land of all the universities. And when I came here, what I noticed right away was the family atmosphere that is a hallmark of Florida State University. I've been in focus groups. Dr. Barron had one in Orlando, I think about a year or so ago. And one of the common themes that would come out of these focus groups when they gather alumni in the various cities is what are one of the attributes of FSU. And almost universally, it's the family atmosphere that you feel when you attend this university. And you feel it when you come back. Don't we all feel it when we come back, wherever we live, and we travel back here to come to Florida State? We feel that family atmosphere all over again. The family atmosphere is like a young lady that I knew in Orlando that had suffered a tragedy, and it was a young lady, and I called Betty Lou Jonas. And she immediately got on the phone. They had been accepted to come to school here and were thinking about not coming. And through Betty Lou's encouragement, they still came, graduated, and are now doing quite well. It's that kind of family atmosphere where people reach out to you and pay it forward and make FSU a special place. I think that attribute of the family atmosphere is due in large part to the heritage of this university from its FSCW days. That family feel, I think, is a carryover from our proud heritage of FSCW. In fact, my wife's grandmother is a 1937 FSCW graduate. As for FSU's impact on me, as my fellow inductees here have told their stories and what FSU has meant to them, and Diane, I can't make my stories as funny as yours. You were great. It's hard to follow some of the great stories and memories we've heard here today. But FSU's impact on me, like all of you, I've created a lifetime of friendships of more than 30 years. When I came to Florida State, it equipped me in ways beyond the classroom. It provided me with leadership opportunities to get involved on campus, and to be involved in student organizations, to be involved through my fraternity, and to meet other individuals. I heard a statistic from Terry Johnson that said that just today before we started that 64% of the male inductees, he said, into the Circle of Gold were former Greek members, which I gained a lot of my opportunities to be involved in leadership were through my fraternity and lifetime friends that I have made. My closest friends today are friends that I made here at Florida State University. And of course, in a roundabout way, even though my wife did not attend Florida State University and graduated from another institution, it introduced me to my wife, my true best friend. Because that was at the wedding of a fraternity brother, and we happened to meet at a wedding. So that kind of made it poetic, I guess, that we would end up, you meet your future wife at a wedding. But she is truly my best friend and best supporter. Lastly, why was I involved? Why are all of you involved? And why were you involved as students at FSU? And why do you remain involved as alums and friends of this university years later? Those that know me, that know me best, I think would describe as one of my attributes to be loyalty. I was taught at an early age the importance of loyalty. I believe that loyalty is important towards your God, your calling in life, your family, and the institutions that you love and cherish. And isn't it easy to be loyal to those things, persons, and institutions that you admire? And there's much to admire about Florida State University. We're a Research 1 designated university by the Carnegie Foundation, the highest designation that a university can achieve. I checked the latest U.S. News and World Report rankings, and we're ranked number 101 out of 2,274 four-year institutions. Now, there are other institutions that, of course, that are two-year, but there are 2,274 four-year institutions in the United States. By ranking 101, that puts Florida State in the top 4% of all institutions. We have 2 Pulitzer Prize winning and 2 Nobel laureate faculty members on our campus. The top cancer-fighting drug, Taxol, was invented here by FSU graduate Professor Robert Holton. We have a world-renowned music and theater departments. Our business school is ranked number 35 by U.S. News and World Report, just to name a few of the outstanding departments and colleges that we have at this university. I heard Dr. Barron say a couple of weeks ago at the President's Club dinner that he reminded us that of the last 5 Rhodes Scholar finalists came from one institution in this state, Florida State University. The last 3 Rhodes Scholars of those 5 finalists are Florida State University graduates. There is much to be proud of and to love about Florida State University. I'm also reminded that we are to give back to those that help us. You've heard stories today of how the lives have been changed and impacted, and I'm sure all of you could stand up here and tell a similar story about people that you've met at Florida State and how they've changed your lives. There's a part of a poem called The Dash. Many of you have heard it, by Linda Ellis. And the poem is about the dash that you see on a tombstone between the year you're born and the year you die. And everything about us is the dash in between. And in a portion of that poem, Linda wrote, "For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash." All of you in this room have lived and loved this university and spent a portion of your dash on FSU. I urge you to continue to do so, and as we are in a capital campaign, I believe Dr. Barron would share in that urging of... Again, I am deeply humbled. I'm deeply grateful. I thank all of you again for this wonderful award. I hope to continue to live a life that's worthy of this great honor. May God continue to bless all of you and our great university. Go Noles.
Well, on behalf of the 290,000 alumni around the world, let me offer my congratulations to our recipients and ask once we conclude, if you would come back up for a group picture. But before we get away, I'd like to offer my thanks and gratitude to the steering committee. We met this morning for over 2 hours, already looking ahead to 2013. So my thanks to our chair, Gene Walden, Cheryl Beckert, Bridget Chandler, Raymond Cottrell, Cynthia Tunnicliffe, and Jim Jonas. Would you please join me in thanking them for their work? I understand that come autumn, we might have a pretty good football team. And so we're going to get a preview in a few minutes. We invite you to go upstairs. Diane mentioned something about Leadership Conference and the magic of Leadership Conference. This is Leadership Weekend, and we have club leaders from all over the country in Tallahassee, and they're going to be upstairs. So when you get a chance to interact with them, thank them for what they do and cheer them on. Enjoy your afternoon. I'll leave you with the same 2 words Gary left you with. Go Noles!